Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Toffee TV Live with two of the infamous Finch Farm 10. It's Baz and the Pill.
Welcome to Toffee TV. It is live at 5. Sadly, we aren't part of the Finch Farm 10, but if you know the Finch Farm 10, get in touch with us and let us know. Joined by Big Andy. The Piv is back after his Christmas sabbatical.
Hiatus.
Yeah, he's just, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. I mean, I'm trying to get comments, but this is still being ridiculous. So, yeah, good evening. How are you? Make sure you get those likes up. 26 of you already have. Massively appreciated. Let's get into it. Here we go. Right, Martin Edwards says, the fans have had enough of this crap now. About time they listen to us, play for the shirt and give 100%. That's all we ask.
It is, yeah.
It is, isn't it?
It's one of the most basic things we ask for.
Royal Blue said, what do we make of the fans confronting the players at Finch Farm?
I don't think they got to the players, luckily. I suppose there's two sides of looking at it. I suppose I don't condone going down and acting like a mob. But on the flip side, the players have to be responsible for their actions and they have to be held accountable for the performances. And I guess, you know, Everton over the last couple of years, people don't feel they have. And that's why it's led to this point with the fans. So I think Marcel Brands was probably good to speak to them in the sense and put the fears at ease.
Again, without condoning that actions, I understand that people are that frustrated and upset that they felt as though they wanted to go and speak to some players about it. Obviously, Marcel Brands spoke to them. But it's out there now, and the players will know that, okay, they haven't had a face-to-face with the players, but the players will be well aware that people aren't happy. Sunday was unacceptable, and it was. And it's up to the players now to actually, you know, put performances in and leave everything on the pitch, because Sunday was unacceptable. So, that's my view on it. Where are we? Sophie Gallagher, evening lads, evening Sophie.
Even so.
Fed up with it all. When are we getting new players? Fed up with the current ones. I want them all gone, otherwise I'll turn my back. That's how I feel. Most hated Everton squad I've seen.
I will say though, it is very hard to like this team. Like, you know, when you usually have 4 or 5 favourites, it's very hard to have that in this team, I will say.
I've got a few I like, but
it's not like you miss any of them really badly.
No, as a team, I don't know.
We've liked worse Everton teams, let's be honest.
No, we have, because they were, I suppose, the performance were more honest.
Yeah.
Than what I think the problem with this team, I don't know whether people agree or disagree, but I think the problem with this team is that there's a lot of quality in the squad, you can tell, and yet certain players just don't look like they're interested. And when you've got a level of quality in a squad, the consistency should be higher, and they should be able to perform and beat a lot of teams in this league, and yet we just drop way below it. And it can only, for me, it's attitude.
A lot of the time we do play down to the level of opposition, and I think buying players from, I know people don't, you know, the squad's a mixed mash of players bought from big teams and players bought from, you know, relegation candidate teams. And for me, buying from relegation candidates, sometimes you can get good players, but a lot of the time they're not used to the same expectation you have at Everton. They're not used to the same expectation of performance week in, week out, the pressure that comes with playing for Everton. So it's very hard for certain players to adapt and be consistent instead of turning up once every 3 games and scoring wonder goals.
But Liverpool have bought, you know, Andy Robertson was relegated with Hull. They bought likes of Sadio Mane, people like that from Southampton, and they've gone up levels, haven't
with they? Them, you know, I think Robertson certainly suits this style of play. I think with Robertson especially, though, the first thing you would say about Andy Robertson when he played for his work rate. That was whereas when we bought, say, Sigurdsson, I know he is known for his work rate. However, he is known as a match winner, if you will. And at times for Everton, he's looked like a match winner, and most of the time he's disappeared like a ghost. So
fair enough.
The difference between the two, I guess.
Fair enough. G. Carlin says, anyone thinks that tactically we were not beaten at Liverpool and City? I don't think tactically we were beaten.
I don't think we were outsmarted in any way. I think Man City's quality shone through.
Yeah.
And Liverpool, I think, I wouldn't have played. The personnel let us down against Liverpool in the sense that I don't think you can play 4-4-2 with two immobile centre midfielders, and that's not Carlo's fault. That's the hand he's been dealt, sadly.
Abigail Barfoot says, would you have Mertens and Carrasco if we could get them?
Mertens is now 30, 31. He's a very good player. Everyone knows, I'm a big fan of Dries Mertens, but I think he's a bit old for Everton. And I understand people can disagree, that's fine. Got no problem with that, he's a very good player. Carrasco's a very good age, and if someone can get a consistent performance out of him, he's a match winner on his day. He's got that pace that we lack and directness that we sometimes lack. Yeah, I like Carrasco. 25, okay. Yeah.
Graham Finch says apparently Delph has been sent to train on his own for confronting Ancelotti allegedly. If it's true, Big Dunk needs to put him in his place by chinning him. I can tell you, Graham, that isn't true. That confirmed today. That is totally not true at all. G. Carlin says Delph thinks he is someone. You know what? I'm gonna defend Fabian Delph here.
I will as well.
No, I know, but listen.
Shut up, voiceover guy.
This is everything all right, Pedro? It's frozen on my screen, but if it's all right, it's fine.
And I look like I've got the yard.
Okay. What I'm going to say about Fabian Delph is, and I personally don't think the moves work so far because he's been injured, he's been in and out and whatever. He's obviously a good player. You don't play for Pep Guardiola for 3 years if you're not a good player. And I think you can criticise him on Sunday, or you can criticise the fact he was brought on, which wasn't his decision, it was Carlo Ancelotti's. And he didn't play very well, like most of them, but I don't think it was for the lack of trying. Because I think Fabian Delph's the type of player that gives everything every time he goes onto the pitch. Now, what I do think with him is, because he's carried a lot of injuries this season, he's not going full pelt for fear of getting injured again. Yeah. And you can see that already from the way he was at the start of the season when he felt he was fitter to what he is now. I think he's trying to just get through games at the moment to put a run together. So I personally wouldn't level the not caring or, he's cocky or whatever at Fabian Delph. He was brought in to try to give us them leadership qualities.
Just quickly, there was only a week previous against Newcastle where people were praising Fabian Delph for coming on and knitting the midfield together when we were under the cosh. So I suppose I know it can be game-to-game opinions changing, especially after really bad results against Liverpool. But I think Fabian Delph's been brought in for us to set standards in the dressing room and to be that voice, a leader on the pitch and off the pitch in a sense. And I think he probably didn't expect to play as much or be as injured as much as he has been. I think he was going to be a backup, really.
So, yeah, there you go. Abigail also says Gibson and I hope Evans might get their chance under Ancelotti.
I'm going to be honest with you, Anthony Evans won't be getting a chance. He's a League One player. Yeah. He really is. Yeah. I was speaking to someone at the Liverpool game about him. They very much think he's a League One player. Wish him all the best, but he should move. Players of his age at Everton should move and go and start a career. Maybe they'll end up back in the Premier League for sure, or other players, but they should go and move on from it.
We spoke about this before, and haven't we, about the under-23s and why they're not getting pushed through and why the development path. It's one of the major problems. We've spoke about it. We've done it on podcasts. We've done it on shows. You could see it on Sunday. They've got 4 or 5 under-23s who probably won't make it as first-team players, by the way, at Liverpool. But they come in. They know the system. They do it. They do what the manager asks for them. We couldn't do that. Our players, we've got players that who are our best players in the under-23 side yet wouldn't come into the first team because there wouldn't be actually a position for them. But it doesn't make any sense. And the players that are good or look good get hung out to dry, get played too long.
Stagnate.
Get stagnate, then get a move. And because they've stagnated so long, can't get in the likes of Derby's side and Hull's side and wherever else they are. And then don't kick on and then come back. And we're like, well, what do we do with them now? The development path just seems absolutely mental.
If they're not good at 19, 20, sell them, put a buyback in it. If you think they still think they're going to be good enough, just let them go and play football. You can't keep people around for the sake of having numbers in the squad. Like Paul Morgan Feeney, people liked him a couple of years ago. When I watch him now, I think he's not going to make it at Everton because I know he's been injured, but he's just not going to make it. He needs to go out and play elsewhere. He
might get a testimonial, though.
Well, Conor McLean almost did, didn't he? Luke Garbutt's been here for how long now?
Luke Garbutt's will be 10 years.
He's actually played that line for Ipswich, to be fair to him.
Sure, Michael Palmer says Tosin could be going on loan, but we need him gone off the books. Don't think you'll get anyone disagreeing there.
We're for just for them.
Jason says, make Delph captain, in my opinion. The only player to show anything, doesn't hide away like the rest.
I think Aldgate actually has really impressed me. I think he's going to be a leader. I think he's got, whether you like his brashness or not, I think he's got a bit of confidence about him. He's not afraid to speak up.
Definitely. Gavin Cunningham says, I'm so happy the players can't say it's the manager's fault anymore. Finally, all of them have been found out. Keith Powell says, hello from Amsterdam. Nice to see you, Andy.
Hello.
Bad guitarist.
He said Amsterdam, not Hull.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Bad
You just getting the ferry from Hull to Amsterdam.
It's happened.
Old Keith,
bad guitarist asks, am I still scared of dragons? Yeah. I think you've got to be scared of dragons, haven't you? Breathing fire on you.
I think you put dragons on a pedestal, and I don't think they belong on that pedestal.
But if you were having a face-to-face with a dragon, you must be wary in case it breathes fire on you.
No, but why though? Why though? That's like...
Is this? Do you have like nightmares from that Christmas advert where the
No. I've got one of them in our house.
A little dragon?
A little dragon, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Maybe this is why I don't scare. I'm not scared of them. You know what I mean?
You can handle a dragon.
You know what scares me more?
I've been able to handle a dragon since I was a teenager.
Do you know what scares me more than dragons?
Go on.
Not having 100 likes when there's 560 people watching.
Oh, come on. To be fair,
there's more chance of a dragon.
I haven't done the live in 2 months.
No, we're on 95, man.
No one guaranteed way of getting 100 likes. By not saying John Blaine's coming on.
Sam Allardyce says Fabian Delph should be the captain. Nice for Sam to tune in, to be fair. Matthew Lamb says final... Sam Allardyce.
Oh, okay.
Matthew Lamb says final word was interesting this week. I enjoyed John on the show. Would like to see him again.
Yes,
that one is
John's there you
kids.
Go. Your big Dosser says players question Carlo Ancelotti and we're arguing back with Big Dunk. The absolute gall of these spineless, useless people. A. Duncan says, hey Andy, who should we buy?
Everyone asks me this. To be honest with you, I haven't been looking at a lot of like Everton level players, but we need a midfielder who can certainly get round the midfield and win the ball back. Frank Kessie and Jeffrey Kondogbia of Valencia available. Them two would be really good signings.
Sounds like a really good Nickelodeon programme, that.
Jeffrey Kondogbia.
Yeah, that as well.
Kessie and Kondogbia. Could be.
Could be a detective series.
Where on earth is Cassie?
Rob Keys says Samuel Tarley should take Delph beyond the wall.
Thank you. Still Samuel Tarley. Listen, Game of Thrones was last year. Don't be so last year. Come on.
Simon Lloyd says, has Ancelotti lost the dressing room already?
No. Do you know what? I don't mind. Like, obviously, I think the press have got need to write those arses as sensationalism, but I think things happen in the dressing room all the time.
Every time.
I think after a tough defeat like that, fans expect to hear things like that, and I think they're pushing that narrative.
I think Ancelotti would like to lose the dressing room.
Yeah, and get a new one. I mean, there's some.
Likes to lose his back pocket. Probably.
Suggestion today that it was Ancelotti's staff who released the fact that players were arguing.
It's one of them, isn't it?
So
it's interesting reading or listening to his autobiography, and I'm up to the stage where he's talking about what he treats as disrespect, and there's different things. One of the things he treats as anyone who talks back to any of his staff and doesn't treat his staff like they're talking to him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. That came up literally today while I was listening to it, and how that's one of the big no-nos of training. You do not disrespect any of his coaches. Or any of his staff, because it's like talking back to him. And there was one he was summoned, and he didn't mention the player, but he said someone spoke back and very quickly found themselves out of the club. And that'll be interesting to see whether whoever did that on Sunday finds himself out of the club, because that would be the message to not only players but to fans that we aren't messing about this time.
Anymore,
and you know all this stuff about we can't get rid of them because FFP. It'd be like, no, you're going. Just one, one high-profile player, whether it be whichever one beginning with S. Just get rid of them, and I think that would be an amazing statement though to the fans saying we aren't taking this crap. But it would also be an amazing statement to the players as well. We'll just let you go.
I think managers at Everton have lacked ruthlessness over the last couple of seasons, so it'd be welcome change, wouldn't it? Really.
Be interesting. RM says Big Boss Man is back. There you go.
Ray Taylor.
Matthew
Dead.
Lumsden says, where's Ped with crying faces? You've literally just heard him. I mean, if you want to see his face, he could come and put
It's
his
not.
head
I'm going to be honest. I can see it's not worth it.
I mean, you're joking, aren't you?
I mean, he looks tired, but you've
I
heard
am
his voice.
tired.
You've heard his voice. So
Was it
Matthew,
Hother this morning?
Matthew, of course it is.
He's
why
Hother
he's tired.
sold us off
He's
again.
Hother sold himself off. Ben Martin says, do you think Carlo was bitten off more than he can chew?
No.
That's from Ped. Andy?
No, I think he's not stupid. I think he fully understands the situation. I think, unfortunately, with the sensationalist headlines of 400 million war chest and things like that, the fans' expectations have been raised. But I think Carlo's well aware of the situation Everton in terms of trying to change the squad over.
And the other thing is, he hasn't lost his dressing room already. He's been here for two.
It'd be a miracle if he had, like.
Over 2 weeks. You can't put
Marcus Silva didn't lose in 18 months, supposedly.
You can't put your points across and get everything in transition in 2 weeks. So, and especially when there's been so many games.
How dare you have standards?
Michael Winstanley says, agreed, Matthew. John brings a different point of view. It's nice to hear. Nicholas Zollinger says, do you think there will be a buyer for Sigurdsson? How much do you think we'd get for him?
15 to 20 million. He's 30 years old on a lot of money. We're probably going to have
Would
to...
we get 15 million?
You'd have to ask for it. I think, Sean Dyche, the gravel man, the worm eater, he'd love a player of his ilk.
He would.
It's times like this when you have to really be annoyed that QPR still aren't a Premier League club.
Yeah. They'd love Schneiderlin and Walcott.
Do you know what? There's less and less stupid teams as well that take a Sigurdsson. Now, if Roy wasn't so old, Palace might be a candidate as well, but I think they're going to start looking beyond Roy eventually and not sign as many older players because I think the average age of the
That
squad's
sounds like a
45.
really good Netflix show.
Beyond Roy.
Beyond Roy.
It would be a good Netflix show, that. One season, though. Might get a bit boring.
He blows his nose at the end and that's the end of it.
Steve
I honestly don't know what it'd
says,
be on me.
Andy, do you think the club is in for Reece James, Joachim Mal, Max Aarons or Jayden Bogle as our next right back?
So the first one's Reece James. He's going to be Chelsea's future right back. Unfortunately, he's going to be really good. I think he's probably going to beat Trent Alexander out for the right back spot. I think he's much better all round.
Right back.
Yep, so English. So then you've got Joachim Mile. Hopefully, I'd like to see him at Everton. He's a big unit, gets up and down the pitch well, can cross, can pass.
Hasn't he just signed a new deal, though?
He has. That's the Razor's value when they sell him. Max Aarons is a good player. I think it's going to be a bit of an adaptation for him to play for a much bigger side with a bit more expectation. Has got a lot of talent. He was the last one. Oh, Jayden Bogle.
Yeah.
Good player. I think Derby will be willing to sell him for a cut price. I think that'd be a good signing for Everton in terms of people want brands to make these type of gem signs. I think he's someone we could sign who you'd have to have someone in front of him for a year or so while he improves. But he's a very good right back.
Interesting. Patrick McLaughlin says, what do you lads think of the atmosphere would be like for Brighton? I think it'd be fine.
I think, don't get me wrong, I think Goodison's not been unbelievable for a couple of years in terms of regularly, but I think it'll be fine, be the usual level.
Okay. David McCormack, you've got no chance of a new ground. Well, we have, haven't we?
Well, the planning permission's in, so...
Yeah, it's a bit of a bad one, that. Eugene McGeever says, do you think we'll beat Brighton this week, Andy?
Yes, I think so. I think 1-0, I'd do 1-0, do me. I'm not really, as long as we're picking up points and, building them. I think Carlo's had a week with them now, so they should see some improvements.
Cool. Mark Cairn says, all right, lads, it's wrong on so many levels for fans to go to Finch Farm. Protest at the ground on a match day. Love the show. I think they're just frustrated, though, Mark, aren't they? Maybe they thought, gonna strike while the iron's hot, so to speak, and deal with it while the emotion's high, and then it's out the way and they can back the team at the weekend. I don't know.
And what would be the point in going to... How could 10 people make a difference at Goodison Park on a match day?
It might get more...
No, but they couldn't, though. That's the point. The 10 have gone. If they've gone, and it's it is what it is, I would imagine they've gone because that is an intimate place to try and have a conversation with these players. I think, for me, what this boils down to is the fans don't feel like they've got any representation. This is what the fans forum should actually be for. It should actually be for people to voice their opinions in a sensible way. Not a group of lads going down and other people feeling like it's a pitchfork thing. This, for me, should be where the club listen to fans, because they don't listen to fans. No matter what anyone says, they do not listen, because they do not have an open channel to the fans. No. That's the point. They do not listen. And they also don't put players in front of the fans. You know what's great? You must have both seen that infamous video of Harry Redknapp with Frank Lampard.
Yes, where they question the fans,
when the fans are questioning Harry Redknapp's decision to play him instead of this other kid that probably works as a milkman now. And Redknapp sits them down and he listens to them and he just gives his reasons why Lampard's going to be the future. Obviously, nepotism. And he says that this is where the clubs, and it's not just Everton, this is where a lot of clubs have fallen down. And this is where Alan Myers said it right. I seen something yesterday, it was 6 years since one of his tea parties or whatever. It was that idea of building bridges with fans, listening to fans, listening to what the problems were. How many times did Alan used to he'd heard there was a problem, so he'd rock up at that house. Oh, me dad can't vote for the badge, turned up and got the vote, whatever. This is, to me, where the club, instead of burying their head in the sands and where other people should give faux outrage, this is where Marcel Brands sounds like he understands this. The club should be meeting with these people regularly. And I'm not saying, there should always be a player there, but why not have it so that every month a player and the manager speak to so many people from one particular fan club or one coach or whatever? I don't know. But football clubs in general have built these barriers up between fans. Certainly in this country, might happen in other countries. Have built these barriers up so that we look at play. And I said this with Silva all the time, literally from day one. You build up barriers between the fans and the player or manager, the fans will end up looking at them like they're not humans and like they are just things on a screen, like on a film. And therefore, they don't humanise them, and that's where conflict begins. Because you don't care. You don't care. You'll go, he's a dickhead, and he's a knobhead, and he's a blah, 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 because you don't care how they feel. When Roberto Martinez was the manager, because the way things were, we all felt like, he's an absolutely great fella, but we've had enough of him now. But you know what I mean? This is where football clubs, and our football club should be leading this. If we're supposed to be the people's club and a family club and all this, lead it. Go and meet fans. Go and meet fans representatives and not the fans forum, because that's a load of nonsense. Go and meet the proper fans and let's start building. Get Fabian Delph, right? Take him with maybe Brands or whoever and take him down and go and meet a supporters club and say, listen, I was out of order, but this is why I said those things. And start building relationships. It's the only way it can happen as far as I'm concerned.
Just a little tiny point about that. I think that football clubs have become faceless conglomerates or corporations. And I think, again, like I said on the podcast, they need to realise they are owned by the fans of the community. Football clubs are owned by the communities in a sense. And they should communicate better with us, 100%. Definitely. That's definitely.
Happy as hell says, not saying we could get him, but would you love to get Rashford? Him and Dom would be...
Oh, yeah, I love Max Rashford. I think he's still not quite hit where he should be, but he's a very talented footballer, yeah.
Steve says, Andy, is Gabriel Barbosa a top half Premier League player if he came to England, or do you think bottom half? Seeing teams like Newcastle and West Ham linked with him.
I like Gabriel Barbosa because I think he's a finisher and he's like he can finish, he can score any type of goal. It's just in what team, and obviously there's a risk about him adapting as well. I think top teams won't take that risk. I think they want someone who's playing in Europe's top 5 leagues already, who's done it and proved it there. I think he could be I think he could be a top striker. It's just about mentality. I think he's found God, and I think he's much more happier in himself than when he was at Inter Milan and Benfica. So I think he'd be a good sign for West Ham, Newcastle, Everton. Yeah, I think he'd be a good sign for Everton as well. Yeah, really good player.
Steve Kelly says, all right, lads, hope you both well. Kicked off a right storm mentioning the way the club was run off the pitch in relation to the kit sponsorship yesterday. Do you think on Saturday we will have an idea of which players spoke up and questioned Ancelotti? I honestly can't get my head around certain members of this group.
No, because football clubs tend to keep it in-house, not unless they're trying to get rid of people and they're going to sell them downriver and then they'll leak it out. But I don't expect to find out individual names because those players would be targeted, even if it was, even favoured players, they wouldn't do it. So I don't think it'll happen now.
Okay, Eric says Snailerin, Walcott, Keane, Delph and Tosin going to be loving Carlo's clinical clean-out. I don't think Delph will be one of them. And I think for some reason, Delph's getting tarred with the brush that he is under. That's just my opinion.
I don't think he's done anything particularly wrong.
He hasn't been great, don't get me wrong, but
I think he's been brought in to set standards more than play every week. So I don't know. I go back and look at what people said about him after the Newcastle game. People seem pretty pleased with what he did that day. So
he's a good player and he's got a good attitude.
you know.
Okay, maybe he shouldn't have gone on an open forum, a public forum, and argued with someone, but
At least he cares.
it shows that he cares, doesn't it? Otherwise, he wouldn't respond, would he? Regardless, he wouldn't give a toss, would he? Or block them.
Like
So
a lot of them do, yeah.
I don't know. I think the Delph one, the others I agree with, but the Delph one, I'm not so sure. Dave Wilde says, with all the shenanigans being reported following the FA Cup surrender, it sounds like the players had it way too easy under Silva. First sign of a few home truths from Ancelotti and Dunk, and the toys have come out of the pram. Agree, Ped?
Yeah. Far too easy under. That's half the problem, isn't it? Half the problem is now is because he obviously let them get it. No, I mean, I don't think he purposely get them. I just don't think he was a big enough
Style of management,
I don't think he was a big enough character. I don't think,
It's not ruthless.
and by not allowing maybe Duncan to do what he needed to do, but I think he was just intimidated by that, intimidated by the presence of Duncan, maybe to take his job off him.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, I know the players are absolute gang, or some of them are, but I don't think he helped because his personality, and that's why, as I said before, if we could make a statement by being ruthless and just saying, you know what, we're not having this, like we should have 2 years ago with Snidlin after Leon, and just went, you know what, mate, you're gone, you're gone. Morales, when Morales and Snidlin, against Snidlin, Morales in training, when Duncan sent them inside, that should have been, you're gone, but it hasn't. He's got more lives than a cat, that fella.
He should have been.
And we're talking about the cat out of that.
Well, the problem is...
He should have been publicly put up for sale.
Silva, the problem with Silva is that he sort of did banish players at the side like he did with Sigurdsson, and then he brought them all back in, and I don't know, I think if Ancelotti decides that people aren't good enough for him, you'll be in reserve, or be in the 23s, and Runsworth will gladly take anyone over the age of 30.
James Perry says, hi lads, quick question, what the hell is happening at Everton Football Club?
I think it's been blown.
We're in flux.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. But
the way I look at it, James, is it started 2 weeks ago, the clean-up, and this is unfortunately, with anything, there's painful bumps in the road when you're trying to change cultures and you're trying to change people. And, you know, Robert Ball says, listening to Ancelotti's audio book, hope you fellas are on commission. It's a good book, isn't it? This is me dad putting pressure on me to read it. I read it, put pressure on Ped. John Blaine's got it. Andy's got to order it as well. It's sound. It's good.
No one puts me in the corner.
Okay, baby.
I put you well in the corner, baby.
You couldn't.
Lindsay65 says, evening lads, what's the Tuesday topic with John today? Was wondering if we are able to access Usmanov's billions. Do you think if we were, we'd be making a rob for our own back? In what way?
Well, it depends if you mean in the
human rights kind
human
of way.
rights kind of way, or in the kind of way that we'll misuse it, I guess. There's two rods for your own back, I suppose. I think with Usmanov is, as well as money, obviously, that he brings, I hope he brings structure, because I think at the top level, Everton lack structure that other clubs close by seem to have by stealing.
But they've only changed over the last 4 years, and they changed because the manager.
Yeah.
If you read Ancelotti's book, and I'm not on commission, I should be, he talks about upward management above him.
But that's what you hope to see for Everton. Everyone needs to be the best they can be at the jobs. And if you've got a world-class manager and you've got, a well-respected director of football, you need to
start questioning it.
You need a CEO who's good enough to,
It's everyone. Everyone has to do it. Everyone has to be the best they can be. Conor Gerrard says, providing the news of the aftermath Sunday's defeat and blasting Duncan gave the guys, who would your starting 11 be on Saturday? It's difficult, isn't it? Because quite clearly, we don't know who it was. But I wouldn't play with that midfield again, them two in the midfield. Not because I'm saying they were the ones, but they've got no legs. And we've said this for ages. We've said it all season.
They can't play together.
They can't play together. And you need legs, you need mobility.
They cheated their way through them first two games because they were showing Ancelotti, and then again, the real true colours come out when they have to, when they go under the gosh then.
If we've got mobility in the side, we'll beat Brighton. And that's a fact. Because we'll beat most Premier League teams with mobility. Without it, we start struggling because, like you said, we play down, we're slow. And when the football's slow, it's easy to mark. And we proved that under Silva, didn't we? Thor Martinson says, will Sunday be good for Everton long term? A new start. Silva complained that his players hid and refused to take responsibility. Now Ancelotti has seen with his own eyes those cowards naked.
Fans have seen them though as well.
It's not the first time
This
either.
allows, because it's so early in his regime, and someone's already said, has he lost the dressing room? But that does point to the fact that it gives power to the manager now, and it gives power to him over brands as well, where fans can say we've had enough of this. Because what's funny is, like, we have a Instagram.
Just social media part.
We have a group on WhatsApp, and obviously Kane's in it, and Kane goes home and away, and he's obviously very upset by what's going on, and he's, but he'll still go to away games and he'll still go to home games, and we've just heard West Ham sold out. But at some point, if things don't change, people will just start voting with their feet, and it mightn't be people like him straight away, but it'll be other people who are just like, I can't be bothered with this.
First seen
And then it'll start and then that's what'll happen. People will start going, we're not putting up with this anymore, and that's when the club are in real trouble. And for me, it gives the manager power to say, I want to get rid of that player and that player. And people might disagree and say, see, I know what you're going to say, Andy, and I know what in financial terms you can't.
No,
okay, but all right, but in terms of like how a football club is run, and the discipline of a football club, and what is needed, strong leaders, strong characters, if you do not put a marker down, like we haven't in the last 2 years, and I understand why the reasons are we keep on... I mean, when that incident happened in Lyon, Unsworth was the manager. So Unsworth was already messing about with loads of things.
Yeah.
Allardyce come in, it wasn't his thing.
New chances,
everyone gets a clean slate, I suppose. But straight away, Allardyce has looked... straight away now, the manager's looked at it, Ancelotti, and gone, oh, it's a clean slate. Within 2 weeks, he's gone, well, you're already blew it. So I'm just hoping that what Sunday will allow him to do is give him the power to be able to just say what needs to happen.
I think though, if you put Ancelotti and Brands in separate rooms and say come with a list of players you want to start, I think they'd come with the same list. I think everyone could.
I think they would. Problem is though, the problem is Ancelotti would probably go, here's the list, just do it.
The team now,
but Ange would go,
well, he's got to think of the bigger picture.
He's got to work out the financial implications, the FFP.
Job,
and that's why,
and
this is why we said this week. This is what one of those things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had the problem in the summer. He wanted to get rid of 3 or 4 very clearly, but he couldn't, because he got rid of Lukaku, but he probably would have wanted to get rid of Pogba, or got rid of Lingard, or a couple of others that were troublemakers around, but he couldn't.
Influences.
Because you've got to be able to replace those players, and if you haven't got the money or haven't got the targets, you can't do that, and suddenly your squad then is stretched, and that's the problem we're going to face now. People are going to walk in on Saturday, and some of them are going to be expecting, this radically changed team. It won't.
Most of them
it won't. It'll be a couple of changes, and that's all it'll be.
Not much you can do. Lucas says, tough fellas, can you explain in more detail some of the stories that's on your Instagram account? Don't calling out the players, fans turn up at the training ground, and the Delph situation. Okay, Lucas, first of all, it's come out Duncan had a go at some of the players after the defeat on Sunday, and some of them answered back and basically disputed what he said, which was he didn't try hard enough. Number of fans turned up at Finch Farm wanting to speak to the players to find out what's going on. Marcel Brands eventually came out and spent 20 minutes with those fans, listening to their grievances basically, and said he'd take it back and report it back to the dressing room. And Fabian Delph had a spat on social media, on one of the forums on social media, I don't know what it was, with a fan basically who said he didn't care. Delph was disputing it, saying that they give me best, blah de blah de blah. That's where we're up to.
But weren't the water slightly muddied on that by people putting fake stuff out as well?
Yeah, people have put all stuff that he said this and he said that, which he didn't. It's there to see his real one. It's the tick.
He's not been disciplined.
Gary Ward, hello Gary, says, with Pickford having problems, what do we do with João Virginia now?
He needs to go out on loan. The problem with goalkeepers is he needs to play now. Obviously, he went on loan to Reading, and Reading absolutely... But again, this is Everton not doing the due diligence of Reading a mess. You don't send players to messy clubs.
We had a discussion about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
What difference would it make if you sent them down to a championship, a conference side?
Wouldn't.
Exactly. So why
Well,
don't we
look
just
at
send
Dean
them somewhere?
Henderson.
Why don't we send them somewhere where he's absolutely
Guaranteed to
guaranteed
play,
first team football and nothing else matters?
Well, look at Dean Henderson. He went to Shrewsbury in League One. Did really well there. Then got the move to Sheffield United, obviously last season Championship, and then he's come to the Premier League with them. And
Jordan Pickford played in conference, played in League 2, League 1,
that's
Championship.
level, to be fair. But, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it?
It's all experience, isn't it? It's playing games, it's
I
organised.
agree with you there that you can't solely look at top leagues where it's dicey where they'll play.
As a goalkeeper, definitely.
Basically, Virginia, the biggest difference is going to be is being tested early and physically in the box.
Yeah, that's what you want.
And then you'll be testing League One the most.
And having fans on your back
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
make mistakes. You've got to cope with the whole thing. Paul Cattrall says, where do we start? We seem to be in a little bit of a mess at the moment. Hopefully, Mashiri, Brands, Ancelotti can get things right on and off the pitch. There's about 6 to 7 players in that first team squad I'd be made up to see moved out of the club. Nothing ever seems to go right for the Blues, does it? It will do, Paul. Keep the faith. Lines, he says, Happy New Year, Andy. Good to see you back. Steve Kelly says, question for the Piv. Any players in the Championship you see making the step up?
Yeah, there's a few. Eberechi, he's really good, number 10, QPR. Sorry, Brentford have got a couple. We've got Josh De Silva, who's a midfielder who left Arsenal to play for Brentford B, and he's got his move to. We've got to move up to the first team. He's a really good player. Saïd Benrahma, the winger for Brentford's very good. Ollie Watkins for Brentford's also very good. Trying to think who else.
They've said 2 of them aren't leaving this January, though.
No, I think Brentford are going to come up, to be honest with you, if they can get a run of form. In terms of other players, let me think of the top of my head. Joe Rodon, who plays for Swansea, of course, is a very good player. There's Jaden Bogle, right back at Derby, who's a good player. There's a couple more I'll probably missing, but they're the main.
Just off the top of his head. Yeah. Jason Jones says goalkeepers, Cragno, Strakos.
Alessio Cragno and Strakosha for Lazio.
Bitsu, Paddy, Happy, Guatia at Palace.
Guaita's is what in terms of metrics is really good. I don't know. He's faced a lot of shots though, and it can skew the metrics sometimes. I think Guaita is a good goalkeeper, and he did Valencia were probably stupid to get rid of him at the time. But I don't know. I haven't really looked at goalkeepers because Everton are a team that you think they're going to. Even though Pickford struggled at times, I don't think we're going to change the goalie.
I think Pickford just needs Ancelotti to get a grip of him and just go, listen, use your head a bit more, and I think you'll be all right. Jake Ablett says, do you think we'll sign anyone in this window?
Hopefully a midfielder on loan or maybe centre back on loan at the very least.
Cumbrian Toffee says, even fellas, do you think Ancelotti will demand a proper structured pre-season programme? For me, Moyes was the last manager we had that had a well-structured pre-season with players firing on all cylinders at the start of the season. The pre-season under Martinez, Koeman and Silva has been woeful with big question marks over fitness. See, I don't think last pre-season was woeful, but quite clearly, if you haven't done the intensity work in training, then that's why you look undercooked at the start of the season. You know, if you're doing too much ball work and not enough short, like we were saying, you know, on another video, you know, not enough short, intense work that gets you ready for day one of the Premier League, but also having better players.
Well, you know, you are right in saying that, and this is where like the difference. I think a lot of people have gone into ball-orientated work as a Pep Guardiola. What people don't realise, if you read Pep Confidential, which is a book about his time at Bayern, he makes them do full-length sprints of the pitch with the ball. So they're still doing intense work out with the ball,
with them,
which is the difference. I think the teams have been too focused on patterns of play and short passing games and run those. You obviously need to mix it up a bit.
Lee Middleton says, afternoon lads, afternoon Lee. Mason Holgate away at United arguably put in one of the best midfield performances for us this season. Would you put him in there Saturday? At least it gives us a bit of legs and he'll get stuck in. The flip side is Keane would have to play centre-back.
I don't want Keane playing centre-back. Now, Michael Keane's isn't a terrible centre-back, but he gets exposed. He gets exposed continuously, and he's a confidence player as well. I think Everton, I think we are short of centre-back, and hopefully we get that sorted this January, but I don't know. I don't think Holgate's midfield. I think he was good in games against big teams. Is he going to be good against a team where we expect to have more of the ball? I don't think so.
I think he's mobile long and can win the ball. You'd have to have someone creative with him.
Yeah, that's the difficulty.
You know. Kate Reynolds says, Kate, your package came today. Ped, just update Kate.
I've messaged him about an hour ago.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Kate.
He loves the Canadian tea towel.
He's made up with it.
Yeah.
He's literally got no pants on, just a tea towel. Are you worried about how this incident at Finch Farm might affect potential signings a player thinking about coming to Everton might not get the warm and fuzzies hearing about this kind
I'll
of behaviour?
say no, because Lazio fans have tried to throw bricks at players before, and people still sign for them. All sorts of things have happened in other countries. Look at Sporting Lisbon. I know Rui Patricio left, but it's worse in other countries. The ultras have much more power in Italy than the fans do here, and they can actually go to the ground and demand to meet the captain and things like that. It's much different. So no, I don't think it'll put people off, actually.
No. El Loco says, all right, boys, not aimed at you lads, most on here is sound, but can some of our fans please stop trying to find a reason to have a go at the manager already? Give him time, he's quality, and hopefully it will work out, but it'll take a while. Get behind him. Also, Ped, you're right about dragons. Daleks you should be scared of. He's not scared of a dustbin with a gun.
I think Cybermen are a lot scarier.
I thought Cybermen was scarier.
I think they are.
Good shout. They are a bit weird looking.
I still maintain a dragon. You'd have it. It's difficult.
You can but you can reason with a dragon.
Can you though?
Yes.
Does it understand you?
Have you ever seen Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit number 2? He has a long conversation with
You
him.
can reason with them. They've got, flesh and blood. Like, no, a Cyberman.
Okay.
You're programmed to kill you, but a dragon, he's going to have a chat with you, and then he'll make up his mind whether he's going to toast you.
Yeah.
But at least you can have that chat.
Okay. Zach Lad 1 says, if Dunk was managing in the previous game, we're in the next round. Simple as that. The effort and spirit levels have dipped. Spirit levels?
We were playing with spirit levels.
Exactly. Do you agree we win the game if he's on the sideline? Well, he was on the sideline. I know he wasn't in charge of the team. I don't blame Ancelotti for it. It's the players. The players at the end of the day. How many times do we have to say it?
I think this is going to be an issue, though. And the fans have got this, because of the results Duncan got to think that if he was the long-term manager, that would be the same every week. Eventually, Dunk would have changed it up and went more possession. Oh, I assume he would have. And I don't think you can players can play with that intensity for 38 weeks a year. So
the Arsenal game showed that.
Yeah,
it
was really bad game.
It was 3 days after the Leicester game. That showed it. It was a terrible game. And I'm not saying that's down to Duncan, but it's what you've just said. It's that intensity. So imagine if we'd come off the back of the Man City game. Imagine all those games over Christmas if Duncan had been trying to play that high pressing, intensity game with no extra coaching. And to be fair, no matter what anyone says about the derby, it's no coincidence that we were absolutely gone second half after having all those games.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that could be put down to. There's a lot of factors come down to
Mental,
Saturday, like
fatigue,
no young players because the manager doesn't know any young players.
And we haven't prepared them properly.
So far all he's mentioned is one young player. He hasn't gone, I like the look of this player, like that. He just knows Gordon because Gordon's training with the first team.
Yeah, he's the most ready.
And he's the most.
I think if you're aware of Dob and Iango and what's Reece, whatever his name is, but they're way off the first team at this point.
And don't forget Nias as well, because he is our most promising.
Well, poor Ellis Sims. Ellis Sims is laying off Nias, isn't he? He's his understudy in the under-23s.
What happens is that every time Nias kicks a ball on the M57, Ellis Sims has to go and get it. Essentially, that was the rule.
That's how he gets his movement. That's how he gets his movement.
That's the hierarchy.
Shuttle running between cars.
That's the hierarchy. You've got to, if he kicks a ball onto the
3 yards,
the expressway, Ellis Sims has got to go and get it. That's the rule I've been told.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Is that real?
It's a real rule.
I think Gylfi's understudy has to try and find them, which is impossible because even on the pitch,
the problem with Gylfi is the wind is so strong at Finch Farm is that he's lost the technique of taking free kicks because he's putting this extra whip on it now because of the wind. And all that happens is now when he plays in games, it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
So every time he puts the extra whip, that's why it ends up in the top of the grass seat.
Okay.
These are real facts.
Do you agree, Baz, though?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Where are we? Andy.
Baz looks like he's checking his gas bill.
This is from Speed.
No.
Mate, it's the comments on it. Hang on.
Just go on Patreon.
There's 920 watching.
Go on Patreon.
There's 219
go
likes. You know what that does to me.
Patreon.
You know what that does to me.
Just go on Patreon.
I'm going on Patreon now because the likes 219 and there's almost 1,000 people watching. Bad.
A third.
And this is for you,
though.
Steve. There are loads of reds.
Yeah.
To be fair, they're nice reds. I'd have
To be fair, my Match reaction has done better numbers than the Duncan Ferguson interview.
What's sad, isn't it?
Because a couple of their fans got hold of it and spread it around.
Well, ask some questions about Liverpool if you want.
I know, yeah.
Andy, when did Everton...
Someone's asked about Brewster.
Oh, well, can't answer that.
I know.
Andy, when did Everton appoint Michael Rablett as a scout? He's overseeing League One and all the other leagues in
I'm
France.
not too sure, to be fair. Oh, hold on. No. The only one, to be honest with you,
Your mind up.
no, there's a lad, I know they took a lad from Middlesbrough to do Spain. I'm not too sure when Michael Rablett started. I know the one who does Austria and Switzerland's Giacomuzzi, and I know John Doolan's the general senior scout. Apart from that, I don't really have that much contact with Everton scouts in terms of knowing exactly what they cover. Sorry.
Kevin Burke says, would you have that number 10 from Brentford? Ben Rama looks quality and could
Yeah,
step
he
up.
is. He is a good player. Yeah. He can be inconsistent though. He didn't start the season off really great, and then he's come on really leaps and bounds over the last 10 or 15 games. There's a risk there, and I think Brentford have won 20 plus million for him. Very talented footballer though, really is. He'd go past anyone, creative, scores goals. He's very good, by the way, QPR. People need to watch him. He's a talent.
Ian Russ's moustache says, do you think Emre Can would improve your team?
Yes, he would. Yeah,
Big unit as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Emre Can could play centre half or in defensive midfield. He's quality on the ball. I'm not a huge fan because he's always injured because he doesn't keep himself in the best of shape, but he's a good player.
Good player, yeah. Epic Ledger LLC says, patience, lads. It took 4 years to Klopp to create a winning team. Give Ancelotti some runway.
I'd ask the fans' patience. I really would. I think we need to be patient and not go week to week and change our minds based on each result. I know the Liverpool games are a different matter altogether, but we need to be patient with Ancelotti and try and change things around and change the squad round.
True. Steve Baz, can you get Marcel Brands in the studio for an interview? We're trying, Steve. We're trying. But it would be good because it'd be good to hear what his vision is, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
We're working on that one. Hopefully we'll get him. Brit Aaron says, bring in Baby Yoda. This is the way.
It is the way.
Joe Pesci.
It is the way.
Keith Powell says, apparently after Klopp first came in and demanded intense training and a change of system, they suffered 13 hamstring injuries, and it was a year before the system worked for everyone. Adapted to. Well, that's right, isn't it? It's all about that's a period of time. Look at Liverpool now. Look at Klopp, what he's created there.
They're Girl Guide cookies. Not the ones you always see on the films.
What the guy?
Girl
Kate's
Guide
amazing.
cookies.
Kate is amazing. Where are we? Yeah, John Max with me. Dragons are baskets. He knows.
Our baskets.
Well, you know.
Moscatos.
You know the score. Carl Harris says, Adama Traore for Everton.
Now, I know everyone Adama's great and then he's obviously probably the best dribbler in world football, but he's only had a couple of months of like showing he's got that final ball. Let's see it consistently before anyone invests massive amounts of money in him. He flashed it before at Middlesbrough and then had one disappearing season at Wolves. He's a very good player, don't be wrong, but you just need to see him more consistently do it before you invest a lot of money in him.
Big and strong, though, isn't he?
Is.
Like a bodybuilder playing
He is.
footy, isn't he? He's huge.
It's a Bonnie Tyler over there.
He
I
is.
need a hit and roll.
No, big and strong was Sanita. Enough to turn me on.
What?
The song. It's a song. I'm just looking how far behind me are because I haven't seen the moose appear on the camera yet.
It took a dark turn, this.
It has, hasn't it?
Ian Abrahams.
I'm looking now for... We've got some Canadian ice wine truffles.
Nice.
I mean, you can't ever say no to them. Martin Edwards asked, would you drop Pickford for Saturday?
We haven't got it worth dropping, unfortunately, no.
There's the moose look. Richard Anticare says, would you have Divock Origi?
No, absolutely not.
No?
I think he'd be terrible for anyone else but Liverpool, I really do.
Okay, Jason Arnold says, hello from Santa Cruz, California.
You
Keep
lucky
California
so-and-so.
blue.
I'm going there in the summer.
Hello, Jason. That's if it's still there. Ped is coming to see it in the summer, apparently.
That's why it won't be there.
Tell you,
He'll hide.
Ian Rush's moustache says Traore has no end product.
Well, it does this season, to be fair, but...
Oh my
He's
God,
got better.
There's 2 tea towels.
Wow.
I mean, it's shooty. I mean, you can't argue with it. Falcon Blues TV says, think Adama Traore is very skillful, has pace to burn and built like a Terminator, but his end product needs work. Totally correct. I mean, it's hard to shove him off the ball. He's huge, isn't
Well,
he?
poor Benjamin Mendy couldn't get through into the stand, didn't he?
Couldn't get near him, could he? That's the issue with him, isn't it? If you give him room to run into, you've got no chance. You'd have
Want a
to,
Girl Guide cookie?
I'll try again.
you'd have to sit back against him.
An insect cookie?
Steve Kelly wants to know how on earth Ashley Young is going to Inter Milan.
It's a slower paced league, and if they need someone to cross the ball for Lautaro and for Romelu Lukaku, so it'll help, really. You can get away with it in Italy. That's why players play to the 14.
What about this one from James Pirry?
What?
And I think he makes a great point. The positive from all this nonsense is if the players think they can take on Carlo and Dunk, they'll be taking on the fans as well. This will allow us to weed out the mercenaries.
It's like an after-eight cookie.
Okay, but what do you think of that, though?
You
eat. I think you're right. I think because Ancelotti's only just got in there,
yeah,
and
definitely.
because of his status, and he's a world-class manager, and because of what Duncan created,
oh my God,
the fans now won't be flipping the finger back at the manager or Duncan Ferguson. The fans are looking squarely at the players now and going, hang on a sec, you did this to Koeman some of you did it to Silva, now you're trying to do it to Ancelotti. Enough's enough. And I think that's why those fans have been wound up enough to go to Finch Farm. Because
I think what they really want is Sam Allardyce back.
Maybe some do.
All I know is that's a taste sensation.
That is an unbelievable after-eight
Hate
cookie.
those girl guide cookies that are like after eights.
Unreal. Why don't you try one?
Because I'm doing the show. Teddy Sass says, hello, fellas, sassy. They're not sure how true the reports are today about the players' criticism of Carlo arguing with Duncan. I hope it's not true because it shows there's bigger problems with these players than what I thought. I'm pissed off at the brass neck of them. It's true. Well, some of it's true. I suppose we're all speculating on who the players were, but you can probably tell going off the pitch performances. Not playing Colombo, but I worry about Seamus just going off common denominators. He's been there throughout all the problems with the players and gone, Ped's now scratching his head like Colombo.
Just one more thing, ma'am.
What do we do with these players, though, if it's true? They're assets at the end of the day, and it's not easy to ship them out. I'd totally put them out in the cold, but I suppose we need them to keep them relevant for potential sales. Mr. Stars of the show, what does Ped mean about making a statement? Thanks, lads. That take care. Maybe about
political statements about Moose.
Getting one of the players just out the door. I think that's what he meant before.
Yeah.
Talking about that. That's the conundrum the club have got, though, haven't they?
Showing who's in charge.
Like Mamadou Sakho for Liverpool when he got binned off because he laughed at him on camera.
He laughed at Klopp and Klopp got him out. That kind of thing, even though he rated them. But there's that kind of thing, isn't it? Is that you've got players, if they are answering back or whatever, making that statement is getting rid of one and going.
Can I just make a statement?
You can make a statement.
Have you ate that cookie?
I'm eating it now, so you take over.
Eat it now, I'll speak.
Go on.
What are we talking about?
Were you answering questions or read the questions?
Where are the questions?
We're up to Teddy Sass.
Stop it.
I just wanted you to eat
What did you mean about making a statement?
Make a statement, show who's in charge. Just said. Show them who's the boss, say can't be messed with.
It's not dominatrix.
If someone in the dressing room spoke out of line, and listen, they mightn't have spoke out of line, they might have just spoke their mind, and that doesn't always mean they're speaking out of line.
True.
It can be, you can have arguments, there's nothing wrong with arguments, there's nothing wrong with putting it out there, but if someone is disrespecting, this is what I'm saying about Ancelotti's book, if you disrespect one of the backroom staff, then let's make an example and you know, either don't play them this week and make it known who it is that you're not playing, they're not on the bench and therefore we know, or just get rid of them. And I know you can't come out, and it's interesting that actually Monday we were told, well, it was put out there by some news organisation that Sigurdsson's been told he can leave. That sounds a little bit... I told
him 18 months ago, to be fair to him.
That sounds ominous though, doesn't it, that's happened. Now that's what
has that happened now?
That's what I'm saying. But I would definitely be making it known that if someone has stepped out of line, then they will be dealt with in the best way, which is get rid of them. And we just haven't done that enough as a club. We've let far too much slide. Far too much. And all that happens is you let one push it, and what happens? The old sire, you give them an inch to take a mile. And once you've got 4 or 5 doing that and a little clique develops, then what's going to happen? The club is going to be... someone told me last season, who works for the club, and these were their words, his words, sorry. These lot are going to get another manager sacked. And that was one of the staff.
And he did.
And they did in the end.
Why did Bill Kenwright tell you that?
Well, because, you know what? I just bought Dreamcoat and Petticoats Volume 4. And he sent me a little signed message saying, thank you for that. This lot are going to get... Now, I don't know if he's about the players or the singers.
Maybe he
I'm
can
not
replace
sure.
the singers from
he was like,
previous
this
album.
lot are going to get him sacked because they can't reach a G.
Lucas.
Because he said they could not reach his G.
There he
There,
comes.
G.
Baz Killington's back.
Regarding what Ped said before, do you guys remember in the Sunderland doc
Yeah.
on Netflix when the players met the manager
went down.
and the supporters and fronted up what was going on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed that. That was a great
That was a
documentary.
great-
Please, sequel.
No, yeah, starring Everton.
Yeah.
Well, Tottenham would be interesting.
Adam Galloway says, genuine question here, lads. My understanding of a DOF role is to install a playing style throughout the club, improve the youth system, among other things.
Not always.
The under-23s are playing different styles to the first team. They seem to have stopped signing young Football League players, i.e. Gibson, Holgate, Dom. Brands has been in position for 18 months. What has he actually been doing?
The problem with the under-23s is, and the reason we were signing players like that is because it was being ran as a club within a club.
Yeah.
Where Unsworth had his own scout, Jamie Hoyland, who now works with Marcel Brands away from Unsworth. I think Brands wanted everything to come under his purview, so he stopped that. And I think what he's been doing is concentrating on the first team. Also, we're bringing in a new head of academy recruitment, so that'll start bringing some players through the doors once the ban ends. So I think things are happening. I think it's taken a little bit longer, though, to sort out the academy than he would have liked. And obviously, we'll probably hear more about that as time goes on and why that didn't happen.
Definitely.
We've just got too many staff, haven't we?
We have actually.
That's the problem,
Brands
isn't it?
believes we've got too many coaches.
We've got too many staff, and we just don't seem to be able to get rid of them. We're run more like the public sector than the private sector.
Well, it's he lady's assistant's got an assistant, so, you know.
Teddy Sass is not expecting you lads to say, but out of interest, you know what players were involved? No.
I heard it was Joe Parkinson and Barry Orme.
Strach Willis, was the ringleader. Also, I've got no problems with the lads who turned up at Finch Farm at all. As long as they weren't being aggressive, it's out of pure frustration, and you know at least they're trying to be proactive and get their points across.
No, what they should have just done? They should have just turned up in a car, put some door stickers on the side for Delta, and they would have just been let in.
They've been allowed in.
Just been let in, Alpha, straight in.
Ryan Kiffin says, could Lewis Gibson play left centre-back in the current system we play?
Lewis Gibson's got ability, right? The problem is, and I think the problem with the prevailing opinion on him around football, is he's just never been tested physically enough in the under-23s, and people worry about him stepping up, whether he can handle the aerial duels and whether he can handle the physicality of a bigger league. And I think that's Everton's fault for not sending him out on loan to test that, and that's why clubs are worried about taking a chance on him,
Took
unfortunately.
Holgate 3 years
Exactly, and there's the prime
to
example
physically
here.
get to a level.
John Stones still...
Tom Davis still isn't at
Yeah.
the physical level, and he's been in the first team for 3
You
years.
need to prepare the lads better, really. And, you know,
Just
playing
need
against
some of
men earlier helps.
Need the club juice.
Yeah, you do need
The Jesus juice.
The Jesus juice.
Lance Armstrong FC, yeah.
Teddy Sasser, sorry lads, I take this changing room thing has been leaked out. Is it by a player or coaching staff, do you reckon? Coaching staff, I would say.
Mick Lyons did it.
Also, the players are running out of
Very
places to hide. They probably know that now, and that's why things are getting touchy, because they're feeling vulnerable. Most sensible supporters will be questioning them directly now. Not
Maybe
Carlo.
the players could get fitter if we sent more fans to the training ground to chase them. Maybe
Remember Moyes?
just go round there like a Benny Hill square.
Remember Moyes sent the yacht to run up the mountains in the Lake District?
Ian Rush's moustache says, what about Dwight McNeil from Burnley?
He's a very good player.
I nearly text you during that Burnley game.
Oh, he's like a fish out of
He's
water.
absolutely woeful.
Oh, you messing? He's like a fish
got
out of water.
no pace
Hold
whatsoever.
on. He's a fish out of water. They hardly pass to him when he's in 10 yards of space because they're just all worried about conceding the goal, even when they're losing. He, in a better side, would be a much better player. Very good player.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, but what is that?
A fish out of water.
What is it, though?
It's wild sockeye salmon, older smoked
Can I
from
ask,
Canada,
why is
ready to serve.
Why is it in a plastic box? Like I put like
Savour the
biscuits?
taste. Listen.
Okay.
Savour the taste of salmon that has been smoked over older wood and preserved in its natural juices. I mean, that sounds beautiful already. Refrigeration is not required until after the pouch is opened. Not being funny, I ain't eating any food that's in a pouch.
Eunice says, hey Toffee TV, PSV Eindhoven has some great players with amazing potential. Brands being a former PSV director of football has to get them in. Also the youth should flow into the team. Well, hopefully that's where we're heading next, that kind of
flowing.
Oh, we'd love to sign Mohamed the Hatter, and wouldn't we? But I don't know if he's going to go to like Real Madrid and sniffing around and people like that.
Be wrong choice for him to go there, yeah.
Rainier's probably going to go there as well.
Carl Davis says, I think Ancelotti's a wrong manager. Look at Graham Potter or Chris Wilder, someone with a philosophy and can work and improve players. Hang on. Brighton are worse off than they were last year under Chris Hughton.
Don't bite. Let me just
Chris Wilder is doing very well this season. Let's see what he does next season. Carlo Ancelotti's the most successful manager in Europe. So, nah, not.
I'm not. I don't think.
I'm not buying into it.
Hold on. I'm not. They're not comparing ability. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti's a much better manager. What people are saying is that Carlo Ancelotti isn't a philosophy manager. He's someone who adapts to clubs. A lot of clubs, which is why Arsenal have gone for Arteta and other teams who've gone for maybe Brighton have gone to Graham Potter, want someone to instill a philosophy right throughout the club.
I don't.
That's the difference.
I wouldn't want Graham Potter anywhere near Everton Football Club. It's what we've done wrong since David Moyes.
He's in the door on Saturday.
Yeah, I know, sadly. But hopefully that'll be the only
Spar
time.
him.
It'll be the only time he's here. UTFT up the Toffees has said Todd Campbell or Aaron's at Norwich. Campbell's doing well, isn't he?
He reminds me.
I mean, he's
like,
trying to be. He
Grealish
thinks
type.
he's Griezmann, though, doesn't he, with the Al?
I think he's like Grealish, so he plays. And you know how much I love Grealish,
You
how
love
much you hate
Grealish.
and how much you hate Grealish. But yeah, I like Todd Campbell. Max Aarons is a very good young player. As I said, it's a bit of a step up for him. But, you know, you've got to invest in players like that early, otherwise top teams will pick them off.
I was quite impressed with him, to be fair.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
Brady 95 says Delph played about 5 minutes. You're right.
Aston Villa are signing Pepe Reina.
Really? That's a great signing,
They
man.
need a goalie, don't they?
Experience, innit? Paying him a lot of money on wages, though.
Ronnie Dealey is the new NYCFC head coach.
Who
Big
is?
Ronnie, the
Ronnie
ex-Celtic
Dealey,
man.
ex-Celtic.
Interesting. Edward Papa Loizu says you need to invest in a better scouting network instead of continually signing players who failed at bigger clubs.
Is this Ollie Kay? I had the same conversation with Ollie today. That's not necessarily the case. Where do you think Mo Salah failed at before he went to Roma? Where do you think Kevin De Bruyne failed at before he went to Wolfsburg? Where do you think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was stagnated at Arsenal before he went to Liverpool? There's hundreds of examples of it. It's not that they failed at other clubs. It's just that they could be undervalued by clubs. Look at Lucas Digne, who was our player of the season last season. Because he's just not, he wasn't suited the way Barcelona play. You put him in a system where he is used to, where he can play to his strengths, then he's a better player. There's not one strategy that fits all.
Brother Abel would love us to sign Aki, Fraser and King from Bournemouth.
No, you're all right.
Purple.
King's okay. Aki's a good player, but he's a bit small. Probably needs to be in a back three. And Fraser's a good backup winger for us, yeah.
Samuel Thornton-Leach says thoughts on what the future holds under Carlo once the crap has been shifted out.
Couldn't make guesses. I think the plan is to be regular challengers for the top four. I think that's the long-term plan, isn't it?
Got to just let it play out. He's a good manager. You've got to let it go forward. You know, people are already just like panicking about Ancelotti now because we've lost a cup game with players that aren't anything to do with it.
We've lost one league game in a month, and
Yeah.
that was against the champions
Yeah.
away.
Who realistically have give up on the season, but they're still the second best side by a long way in the league.
Exactly. So, John Christ says the main problem with most Blues, they listen to Liverpool supporters and then moan which annoys the FRME. Steve Kelly says any good under 23 managers, coaches to bring in for Unzert. Sorry, his job is to develop players and he hasn't.
To be honest with you, I don't really keep up on who's like the under 23 managers. I'll have to check my messages, but unfortunately my phone's broke. But I did ask someone this the other week. This one I think is at Newcastle or Wolves, one of the two got a really good under 23 manager. But
It's
I
about
don't really
development, isn't it?
It's just a good coach who develops them and plays them in a system which suits what will enable them to step up to the first team, and also say this lad's too good for this league. He needs to play against men. Instead, he's not 21 playing against the same people he's played against for 4 years.
Yeah.
Andy Evans.
Kate Reynolds says they're made from 100% real Canadian Girl Guides.
I mean, that's the cookies. Let's just give it some
the cookies,
context.
The cookies.
Well, not like
Well,
a bit of
made
cannibalism.
from Girl Guides.
Apparently.
100%.
Well, they taste
Brian
like
Garside said, can you say hello in Swedish? Hello.
Hello, Brian.
Hello, back to home.
Get it?
Hello, Gary. Is that it? Is it like that? I don't know. Paul Gold says Jared Bowen would love him at our club.
He works hard. And he's a goal scorer. I see him as a bottom half of the Premier League player, though. His final ball isn't great, and I think the reason top clubs won't take a chance on him is I just don't think he's that level. We're looking to get into the Champions League. He'd be a stopgap sort of signing where I don't think he's going to come. He wouldn't come straight into our first team and improve it.
Carl Davis says, I think we cannot expect 10 players to get sacked. It will take a few windows. Ancelotti will get time, but it worries me how he left the last 2 clubs.
It worried me.
Well, Bayern Munich was again the dressing room problem
Because of Pep.
because of what
They love
Pep
Pep,
created. And Napoli was a problem between the players and the owner. De Laurentiis, just go and read anything about him. He's absolute mad.
Produced the Silence of the Lambs film with his dad, Dino. That's a bit of knowledge for you.
There you go.
There you go.
Can't be a bad fella.
Rootudge Anticare says, do you hate Curtis Jones now? No, not at all.
I thought he played really
I
well.
thought he was brilliant on Sunday.
I'm looking
Cracking
forward to
goal.
him playing for Crew.
Ped doesn't like him, obviously.
Didn't care less.
Um,
Didn't even know who he was.
Where are we? Mark G says, newsflash, we had 3 good halves of football under Duncan. Duncan had a bad run of fixtures and didn't lose a game.
Right, let's not start defending Duncan. He got us through the period.
Yeah.
Nice one. Let's move on. Let's not hold the candle for the forever.
No, well, he
Did well.
He's the only Everton manager who is unbeaten in the league, having more than 1 game. So I don't think anyone can go, well, hang on, it wasn't that good under Duncan.
Chelsea was the best game
We
for
had,
Bayern Munich.
yeah, we had no players and we didn't lose a game. So
He's a
Taylor
bad
Sampson says João Virginia is the worst keeper I've ever seen.
Hey,
Okay.
he played particularly bad at Redden, I have to say, but he's not as bad as that makes him out to be. He needs a bit of time, you know.
I do wonder with some of these keepers that you see, not particularly picking on him, but no, like West Ham's second choice goalkeeper,
Roberto.
Adrian, or Roberto, whatever his name is. He's absolutely garbage.
He's
and
terrible.
you just wonder how they make it. It's mad.
He was the goalkeeper under Marcus Silva, Olympiacos.
I've genuinely seen better goalies playing in Sunday League. It's mad. I suppose it's the same theory as how Premier League players can't take corners.
Yeah.
You
It's
see it.
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Well, I tell you what, I think at the first man's a tactic. We've covered that one over and over again, haven't we?
It's mad though, isn't it? It's like they can't do the absolute
it's-
basics because they're looking at like steps 7, 8, 9 and 10 and forgetting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Just
and
get
6.
in the box.
How you can't put a decent cross in from the corners.
I could put it, I'm 41 years of age and I could put a better corner in some of our
I think we
players.
should be allowed
I
to
could
make
do
subs for
better than
corners.
Sigurdsson every time. I used to shoot
I
from
could be
corners
special teams.
and have it right under the crossbar so a flick went in. He can't beat the first man. Garbage. Teddy Sass says, the yak overtook me going up Scarfell Pike circa 2007. Sent my head west.
And then he destroyed Sammy Ippia with his shoulder barge, didn't he?
Where's Scaffold Pike? That sounds like
It's
something
in
like
the Lake
it's
District.
in
It's
it.
the,
sorry.
it's the tallest mountain in England.
Oh, is it?
England,
I
yeah.
thought it was a dogging site.
No.
You
Mark G says, all you need to know, Moyes, Coleman and Baines, Martinez, Nias and Holgate, Koeman and Walsh, Pickford, Keane, Schneiderlin, Davis, Sigurdsson, DCL, Balassi, Martinez, Sandro, Allardyce, Walcott and Tosin, and Silva, Sidibe, Mina, Dean, Delph, Richarlison, Bernardo, Wobie, Gomez, Gabam and Keane. That's the squad.
Thank you, Mr.
So-
Walsh.
He's right. Well, look, I mean, Coleman and Baines are both coming to the end.
Well, Davis and TCL were
But out of Koeman, I mean, Holgate signed from Martinez, Nias is gone.
Balassi,
Going.
Jesus.
So out of Koeman and Walsh, Pickford, I still think can be a good goalie for Everton. Keane,
Nah.
Schneiderlin needs to go. They put Davis, although
He's an academy player.
Davis was an academy player, which Martinez promoted. Sigurdsson can go. DCL, yeah, he was a good sign. Balassi, no.
One of the worst signs in Everton's history.
Martina, the
Bar
worst
none.
signing, worst player I've ever seen. Sandro, didn't work. Obviously,
7 million, in
Garner was
hindsight,
good.
not that bad.
Garner was good. Obviously, Garner was great. Allardyce, Walcott and Tosin, go. And then from Silver and Brand, Sidibe, I'd keep, but I'm not sure they will. Mina, I'd keep. Dean, I'd keep. Delph, I'd keep. Richarlison, I'd keep. Bernard, I'd keep. I'd keep all of Silver and Brands at the moment because I still think...
A lot of them haven't enough time.
Yeah, I still think they'll grow into it.
Give them a year. Sometimes give them a
Allardyce
season.
should be out the door, to be fair. And like you say, from Koeman, Pickford and DCL. And then Moyes, obviously Coleman and Baines have become to the end anyway. So you look at that way, I'm talking about getting rid of at least 10, 11 players there that are part of our squad, and that's a hell of a lot for any director of football.
And they're probably on nearly
and they're on
combined $1
big
million
money,
a
and
week,
that's why they won't go. Derek Houlton says, I believe that Carlo is the man. Anyone who doesn't like it, get rid. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Derek. I mean, it's not even, to be honest, Derek, it's not even a thing. It should never be questioned, in my opinion. Not yet, anyway. Give him time. Lucas wants to know how we put the borders on our videos. It's all in the magic. It's all on the internet, Lucas.
They learned it where they found dragons.
I mean, dragons put the borders on.
Well,
come on, mate. You can.
Dragons without borders.
There's loads of tutorials, Lucas.
Wasn't that a Dingo song? Peter Dingo.
Peter Frampton.
No, the other one.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
Weird guy.
Dragons without borders. Dun, 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 dun. And people don't know Kate Bush.
We're doing 5 minutes.
Kate
more.
Bush was the drag.
Take us to the drag. Get them likes above 300, 900 of you.
Kate Bush, great.
For that. Jonathan Griffith says, do you know of Mark Ogden on ESPN? Is he a Liverpool fan because he hates Everton?
Oh, everyone loves that.
Mark Ogden is a Liverpool fan. 100% Liverpool fan, and he doesn't like Everton. Matthew Lamb wants you to go and play 7-a-side on a Tuesday in St Helens, Ped.
No, not going to play with Wolves.
They've all scratched their toes that you're going to have to contend with.
There you go.
They'll be playing 5-a-side with a rugby ball.
Darren Metcalf says, you think Gibson will sign a new contract?
I think if his options dwindle and he hasn't got any options to go, then yes, which is potentially...
You got time on your cock.
They're going to have to pay money for him that they don't want to pay.
300 grand from abroad, up to a couple of million if it's from here. Is the stream all right?
Yeah. That's frozen on me. It just keeps thinking. Mitchell Balson says, do you see a period of dominance in the Premier League, or do you think it'll switch hands a lot?
Hopefully
it depends on who the managers are.
Hopefully the latter.
If Klopp and Pep stay, then I think they'll be fighting out for the next couple of years. But if one of them goes, then or both of them go, then there's a vacuum, isn't there? Because you can't replace like for like what managers very hard. I mean, Chelsea have been managed to do that.
Sam Edwards says, who do you think's in trouble? The WhatsApp group Kevin Morales set up before he left. Possibly. Declan 16 says Iwobi's worse than Balassi. He's really not, is he?
That's when people don't watch football, isn't it?
He's really not, mate, honestly.
Street footballer.
Samuel Thorndale-Leach. Iwobi needs to play centrally. I feel sorry for the people who say he needs to go because they really don't understand football.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Where are we here? Steve EFC says, Matthew, spot on. We will beat Brighton convincingly 4-0. There you go.
Last time I said
we'll beat Brighton, and people will go, why didn't we do this last week? Because that's Everton.
The hoodoo.
What about this? Matthew Lambs just said, how dare you diss St Helens? I assume you have glass windows. Brother Ava
yes,
says,
I can afford them.
we need a striker who can score goals. Relying on youngsters will end up ruining them, like Sandro Moyes. Ian Mills says, is Sunday's result the most embarrassing in Everton's history?
No, the Wigan 3-0 was still the most embarrassing for me of my time.
Tranmere at home, 3-0.
That was bad, and Ronnie Jepson was pretty bad as well, but that Wigan capitulation was just Phil Neville all over me.
Lee Winstanley, what are you expecting in the transfer window? Not a lot, maybe a couple of loans, fingers crossed. Steve Ragg says, is Jonas Lossell injured or just crap?
A little bit of both.
It could quite be a little bit of both. There are we. Alex Naylor thinks we should snatch Gerard Deulofeu back off Watford if they go down.
He turns up one in every
they
6 games.
They won't go down.
And
Nigel Pearson's scaring them all to death, isn't he?
Ped, what do you think of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus? That's from Matthew Lumsden.
It's amazing.
One word review, lovely.
There you go. Well, he doesn't really need to do say any more.
It's amazing.
He needs to say it's amazing.
As is Disney Plus.
There you go.
Which I have.
Illegally.
It's not illegal. There's nothing illegal about my Disney
Is
Plus.
you caching?
Nothing illegal.
He's just rerouted.
There's nothing illegal about it.
No.
VPN, isn't it?
Sort of.
Don't know to confirm or deny.
I'm bouncing off a satellite here or there.
It's all right, as long as it gets there, isn't it? Right, last couple on Patreon. Lucas says, personally, I think every signing Brands has made has been really good. And Brian Garside says, any idea when the next announcement on the new stadium is due? Well, there won't be anything now until we get planning permission approved by the City Council. It's where it is now. Everton have submitted their planning application and we're waiting to hear back.
The brown envelopes are ready.
Hopefully.
It's going to be what? It's going to be...
It's going to be probably...
It's going to be like 16 weeks from this week, isn't it? From Monday. So what's 16 weeks from this May?
It's going to be May time.
And they don't think they're going to call it in, do they?
They'll call it in.
They'll call it in, but
big,
it's already...
It's too big.
Everton have done all the work.
Oh, they have. They covered it, yeah. They covered the public surveys.
So it won't thingy anyway, but we'll probably get a little bit more information at the AGM next week. But
that's going to be an interesting one.
It is. We'll be there. But it
just
depends. Press. And shareholders. Whatever.
Depressed shareholders.
Yeah, depressed shareholders we are. Yeah.
It's the playing game.
So we might find more next week. But like you say, there won't be any other stuff really until planning permission's been approved.
It used to be boss the AGMs and people used to just like scream from the floor.
That's what they should be. They should be like, when you see like the parliament in Turkey, people like taking their shoes off and throwing them. That's what it should be.
Just like,
you've broken my heart. You've taken my childhood away from me.
New contract for everyone.
You get a contract and you get a contract and you get a contract.
Anyone for a contract?
Okay, let's do it.
We can't sell him. He is family.
Ryan De Putri says Juventus FC.
Fair enough.
If you're a Juventus fan. Fair play. How good is Rabiot? Can we have him? Right, we are done. That is it. Thanks everybody who was tuned in. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week on YouTube next Wednesday. If you are on Patreon, we won't be back tomorrow because we're doing something, but we'll be back next week, every night next week, of course. But there'll be other videos on Patreon for you to make up for it, including me and this dude tomorrow. Thank you very, very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye. Star wipe.
He's just leaving it on.
Thanks.